Welcome to IFAStories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred world of Ifa, the Yoruba spiritual system, where every tale carries the power of divination, destiny, and deep cultural insight. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Orishas, the divine forces guiding our paths, rúnmìlà, the iron moles, and many more. Each story is a bridge between the past and the present, weaving timeless lessons that inspire, enlighten, and transform. Embrace the wisdom, honor the tradition, and journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe now and let the stories guide you. To explore full Yoruba stories, Ifa teachings, and ancestral wisdom, visit our website, www.ifastories.com. Step into the sacred path for more resources and information. Activities of Òṣé Méjì in the heavens. Originally, he was one of the 4 oldest apostles of rúnmìlà, which is why he is called Arúgbó-Ifá, the old apostle of rúnmìlà. However, he was very powerful and deceptive. For example, his parents would often leave his younger siblings in his care whenever they went to the farm or to the market. Nevertheless, he had the habit of inciting the children to fight among themselves, and they would often suffer injuries in the process. One time, when his 2 younger siblings, Olugbodo, Akobie, and Fefe, Ehoho, were left in his care, he incited Fefe, the youngest, against Olugbodo, and they began to fight. During the fight, Fefe used a club to strike Olugbodo's legs, who became paralyzed, and that is why he has no legs to walk. From that moment on, he became the divinity of children, and has been served by little children to this day. For his part, Òṣé Méjì never did good deeds, and when he grew up and became an adult, he was known only for organizing fights at the 4 corners of heaven. Everyone feared him. His name was Ajàkádì. His parents, worried that he would live only to cause harm, advised him to go see a diviner. So he went to consult an old babalawo, who advised him to make a sacrifice, ebo, of a small goat and the spinal cord of a snake, to Òṣé, a goat for his own head, and a ram for Ifa, to be slaughtered before offering it. His head was to be washed with the head of the ram, adding 201 sacred leaves. He was warned that while his head was being washed, he should chant the following incantation: Bogborogbo ni ika se yoju ori alaja lesunma ilaju orun sika awodi lo ni keye min mara eleda mi je ki en begbejo. The hand is longer than the head when it stretches upward. The rainbow crosses the entire sky, not in halves. It is a wicked bird that tries to stop others from flying in the sky. My guardian spirit, let me prosper alongside my peers. But due to his overconfidence in his own strength, he neglected the sacrifice. He grew into a man of formidable constitution. He became an invincible wrestler. Every morning, he would leave his house in heaven to challenge every divinity to a wrestling match, in which he invariably emerged victorious. That was why he had been told to include the spinal cord of a snake in his sacrifice to Òṣé, to temper his strength. This is also the reason why the children of Òṣé Méjì are forbidden from eating snake meat. It is remembered that when he was born, his father prepared a medicine using an axe and the crest of a rooster, which he planted into his head. That is why he grew up to be an invincible fighter. He began his wrestling tournaments by challenging Ògún, whom he easily defeated. He continued with each of the other divinities and emerged victorious over them all, but he could barely obtain food to eat, because all the good divinities in the heavens had come to fear him. One day, his guardian angel, unhappy with his conduct, resolved to weaken him so that he could prosper. His guardian angel went to see Òṣé with a goat and the spinal cord of a snake in order to subdue Ajàkádì. Òṣé ate the goat and devised a strategy to bring him down. When the time came again for the annual wrestling tournament in heaven, all the celestial beings were gathered, and the divinities took their respective places according to seniority. Once again, Ajàkádì was the first to emerge, awaiting a challenger. As usual, a long time passed, and no one dared step forward to face him. According to tradition, if no one challenges a wrestler, he is free to challenge anyone he wishes. He pointed in the direction of Gun, the divinity of war, the oldest and strongest of all the deities. Gun was seated, and Ajàkádì challenged him for the opening duel. Gun had no choice but to accept the challenge. As soon as he entered the arena, Ajàkádì engaged him in combat. He quickly lifted Gun into the air with all his strength, but when he released him to crash to the ground, Òṣé fixed a mysterious gaze on him, and miraculously, Ajàkádì fell to the ground before Gun did. Even Gun himself did not understand how it happened that his challenger had been the first to fall. Lying on the ground, Ajàkádì asked Gun to decapitate him with his sword. He lamented that, never having fallen before in any wrestling match, he could not bear the dishonor of standing back up on his feet. As Gun drew his sword to decapitate him, Òṣé intervened and declared that if anyone dared behead Ajàkádì, a great catastrophe and endless sorrow would befall the heavens. To prove his point, Òṣé caused the very foundations of heaven to tremble. The firmament and the floor of the sky began drawing closer together, and total darkness enveloped the heavens. Meanwhile, Olódùmarè, witnessing the confusion, cried out to ask who was disturbing the peace of the heavens. He was informed that Ògún had just defeated Ajàkádì, the invincible wrestler, at the annual tournament. Olódùmarè immediately ordered that whatever needed to be done to calm Ajàkádì should be done, so that peace could return to the heavens. Once again, Òṣé stepped in and declared that Ajàkádì must never touch the ground. To appease the place where he had fallen, the following offerings must be presented to him: 200 men, 200 women, 200 cows, 200 goats, 200 rams, 200 dogs, 200 bags of money, and 200 of every type of wealth. These offerings were quickly delivered, and Òṣé whispered into Ajàkádì's ear that he should rise and accept them. As soon as he stood up, the ground and the sky returned to their places. Light returned, and calm was restored to the four corners of heaven. As he left for his home with his newly acquired wealth, he offered a vigorous goat to Òṣé in gratitude for coming to his aid. He also gave the largest cow, the largest goat, and the largest ram to his guardian angel. It was at this moment that Meyi realized that his days as a fighter in heaven had come to an end, and that it was time to descend to earth. However, he swore that while he was on earth, he would continue his wrestling tournaments.